You know, I really like tea. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to our review video for Saints Row the Third. So today, guys, I'm going to be talking about Saints Row the Third. As you guys know, I did our Rise to the Top series on the game, completed it, did exactly everything there was to do, all the collectibles, all the main missions, all the side activities, the challenges, the achievements, everything. So I'm going to give you my guys' thoughts on it. So Saints Row Third is a really fun game, and I really enjoyed playing it. In fact, my eyes, I can barely look at the camera because I'm just looking at this background footage of this jet taking off and flying through the city. But yeah, it was a fun game to play. There was so much great stuff to do. The missions were very varied. The gameplay was fun. A lot of action, a lot of just running around and doing stuff. And I had a great time with it. Even the more grindy parts of the game, I even felt like I enjoyed. You know, going around and getting the stunt jumps, and doing the challenges and stuff. While those were a little bit tiresome at times, it was fun. The main missions were good. There was a lot of gunplay. I really enjoy that they added choices to this game. And so, like, at the end of like an act, when you do the final mission for that chapter, you can have a choice for the outcome of the mission. Like, for example, well, that would be a spoiler, but basically there's this part of the mission where you can choose either to leave this thing this way or leave it this way, and based on what you choose, you get a different cutscene and you'll get like a different reward. You either get a cash bonus or a respect, which is like a level bonus. So that's pretty awesome. Now, on top of that, there was a lot of comparisons that I found myself making between this game and Saints Row 2, because I played Saints Row 2 quite a bit and I enjoyed that game a lot. And I feel like both the games were so similar, you can't help but make a few comparisons. And there were a few things that I liked about what this game did more than Saints Row 2, but there were some things about Saints Row 2 I thought were a lot better. For example, in this game, while the missions were fun, the story was a little confusing and it wasn't really grounded. I didn't feel like I was quite as connected to the characters as I was in Saints Row 2. And I also felt like stuff wasn't as heavily weighted. And almost like the story didn't even, I mean, it tied into the world, but it just didn't feel as rooted, I suppose, if that makes sense. So I like that better about Saints Row 2. Now, the upgrade system. I like this way better in Saints Row the Third, because in Saints Row 2, your respect level was tied to main missions, and you couldn't go and do the main missions until you had stopped and done some more side activities and stuff to get your respect level up so that you can unlock the next main mission. Sorry, I bumped the mic. In addition to that, you got your upgrades basically by doing the side activities and stuff directly. They would just unlock. Oh, hey, you have unlimited ammo for pistols now. Oh, you've got this new gun that you can get. Whereas for Saints Row the Third, you could do main missions irregardless of what your respect level was, which was great because you didn't have to run around and do side activities. But doing the side activities and getting that increased respect and the cash gave you the things that you were required to have for getting upgrades. And the upgrades gave you stuff like faster reload on your health, faster reload on your guns, taking less damage from stuff, and it was very helpful. So you were incentivized to still do the side activities, but it didn't feel like, gotta pause this mission I'm doing to go do this side stuff that I don't really care about. No, it was integrated a lot more seamlessly, and you had more choice about what you could upgrade, and you could see what the reward was gonna be instead of just doing a side activity and being like, oh, the reward for this is surprising, I didn't know I got this, or that wasn't really good, that wasn't really worth my time. So yeah, I don't know, it was kind of more enjoyable. Now, one thing that I think some people are going to object to is in Saints Row 2, you unlocked outfits and stuff by doing the side activities, versus in Saints Row the Third, you didn't really see that as much. You got a few unlocked stuff, but most of the outfits you had to pay for as like cosmetic DLC. Me, I don't really care about outfits so much, but I know some people that'd be kind of a big deal for, so keep that in mind. Some of you might think Saints Row 2 did that better. I don't really care that much. Achievements. Saints Row 2, the PC version, did not have achievements, but Saints Row the Third did, integrated with Steam, and those were great. That gave me some fun stuff to work on and do. As you guys know, I'm a big completionist, I love achievements, so that was fun, and I really appreciate that in Saints Row the Third. Saints Row the Third was a lot more technically well put together than Saints Row 2. It was more polished, you could see it wasn't quite as rushed, and it was just, everything was a lot more smooth and a lot more well designed. That being said, Saints Row the Third had its own, amount of issues with bugs and with stuff crashing. I had this one particular bug, it happened many times, where the game would crash and it would freeze, and it would freeze up my whole monitor, and the only way to unfreeze it was to hit Control-Alt-Delete. So that was an issue that we had, but the game didn't do that a whole lot in compared to Saints Row 2, where it would just randomly crash all the time. So there were some bugs, it wasn't as bad, but it was definitely noticeable. I feel like that's been every Volition game I've played though. There are at least a few bugs, which is kind of a shame and something they need to work on. And I'm hoping when they eventually come out with Saints Row 5 that won't be as big of a problem. Moving on, something else that I really liked about Saints Row the Third was, one, it wasn't packed with as many collectibles as Saints Row 2. I thought Saints Row 2 overdid a little bit in collectibles. And additionally, Saints Row the Third has an upgrade that you can unlock called the Collectibles Finder, which is where it shows the locations of all the collectibles in the minimap. Really, really like that, because I could go around the map and just find it and go from place to place, get the collectible quickly without having to look up a location guide online and find the little pointers in the map that way. Way easier and way more enjoyable for someone like me who likes to get everything done because I didn't have to look up a location guide. Now, one thing I did not really care for is you had to pull up the stats menu on your phone and look through 10 pages of stats before you found a section where it said stunt jumps and barnstorming. I had no idea that stunt jumps were even in this game because it was never indicated that anywhere. On Saints Row 2 in the phone under diversions, it said collection, and then it showed you, barnstorming, stunt jumps, etc. Here it just had nowhere that it mentioned that, except of course for the stats page. So the only reason I even knew there were stunt jumps is because I got one by accident. So yeah, I think they could have made that a little clearer that that was in the game. And you might be thinking, well, Kess, stunt jumps were in the second game. Why wouldn't they be in the third one? Well, it was said in the second game, there's stunt jumps because it made it right where you would see it, and they weren't in the first game, and based off of what little research I've done, even though I haven't played it yet, they're not in the fourth game, so I thought that was kind of weird. But overall, as far as general gameplay was concerned, I felt like I enjoyed Saints Row the Third gameplay a little bit more than Saints Row 2. Stuff was smoother, it was a lot more action-packed, it was just incredibly, incredibly fun. The one thing about Saints Row the Third that I did not like gameplay-wise was the upgrades were great, but some of them just went a little too far. At some point in the game, you had enough money and respect to upgrade yourself to the point where you were basically invulnerable to every type of damage except melee attacks, and that just took all the challenge right out of it. It was just kind of I basically can't get hit anymore. That's just, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, Saints Row 2 was kind of a cakewalk, even on hardcore mode. It was super, super easy, but Saints Row the Third on hardcore mode, it was actually very, very challenging at the beginning until you eventually bought some of those upgrades. So I appreciated that because I was really, really incentivized to do stuff and upgrade my character, and it just felt so rewarding to do so. So that was fun. Like I said, I think I appreciated the gameplay of this a lot more, but story-wise, Saints Row 2 was definitely ahead. So, do I recommend the game? Absolutely. I think you should play Saints Row the Third. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time with it. I'm looking forward to playing the fourth game. And overall, it just made for a very, very fun series. And I know I'm going to get comments asking me, do I prefer Saints Row 2 or Saints Row 3 over the other? And while I like both the games very, very much, I feel like I like Saints Row 2 slightly more because it's a little bit more grounded, and I appreciated the story and the depth of it and more maybe the groundedness a little bit more than Saints Row the Third. But there were a lot of things that was definitely improved in Saints Row the Third, besides just being technical stuff. The upgrade system, the gameplay was a little bit more, punchy, I guess you might say. I guess that's a thing people say. So yeah, in that front, I like Saints Row the Third better. But overall, I'm gonna have to say Saints Row 2 was more enjoyable for me, but Saints Row the Third was very much a close second. Anyway guys, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review video, a Rise to the Top review of Saints Row the Third. And yeah, let me guys know what you think if you've played this game, or if you want to play it in the future. Let me know what you thought of the series. Until next time, I've been your host, Kescarte DeJudica, and I will see you guys at the top.
I'm about to end this man's whole career. a sight for my soul.